people
throughout the whole
show.
Okay. And then we'll get another couple, 100,000 people.
Yeah,
the
that
next
come
day.
in and,
Right.
okay.
Exactly.
But also
Yeah, it's one of the
changed
smaller
into a
things.
podcast.
Yeah, and then it also turns into a podcast. So Aaron takes the recording and turns it into a podcast.
Oh, pretty neat.
Are we live?
Okay. Do we have sound?
Do we have sound?
I
Good.
see you.
Oh, cool. Can you
My
hear?
phone's apparently not updating today.
there's one.
There we go. Can you hear us now? You can hear us? Okay, cool. All right. Hey, guys.
Sorry.
We are here with another episode of Midnight Oil. Before we get started here, let's just do a little quick follow-up. We were at SEMA last week, so that's why we didn't have a show last week. We were actually at the Taco Tuesday event that was run by H-Day. By the way, if you missed us, you can actually go back into our video feed. I actually had a special show on Saturday. I had William Al-Young and also Phil Robles and his son Jesse Robles and Damn Gina. Instagram.
Gina.
That's right.
She might be
Instagrammer.
at now.
So we had a little impromptu Saturday night thing. Apologize for the audio. We were drinking. A lot going on. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. So, what's up? Oh, you're just framing the picture?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, all right, so anyway, tonight we have a special guest here tonight. We have Tage Evanson. He is the regional director of NASA here in Arizona. NASA, you may or may not know, is the National Auto Sport Association. So we're going to talk a lot about road racing. Tage has done a bunch of time attacks and road racing. Let's talk a little bit about how you got started racing cars. Give us a little bit of background on your racing. I know you were kind of into the Honda thing early, but
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's kind of started as a passion for cars in high school. So first it started with car stereos, and then I was like around the mini trucking scene. So the lowered vehicles, and that turned into drag racing. And then I found a place, I think called autocross. The fact that you could, I was in college at the time, so it didn't cost a lot of money. It was low risk, and you could take, I had an Acura Integra at that time.
right?
That was the GSR, and it was kind of souped up, had all the Ricky Racer Go Fast goodies, so actually did pretty well at that. And then it didn't take very long doing autocross to find that there's actually, you call it road racing, or you can take your car on a real racetrack, not a parking lot with cones, but actually take it on real tracks that professionals drive on, where it goes left and right in very high speed. So that was a very immediate draw. I mean, the first time you drive your car on a road course, you fall in love with it very, very quickly.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I know some people are a little bit sketched out by going that fast near other cars, but if that doesn't bother you, it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, people get freaked out about having their car at high speed on a track, but I feel safer on the racetrack than I do driving in traffic, or especially like an intersection. That's where most of your accidents happen.
By far, everybody's going the same direction. Typically, everybody's experienced. It's usually a much safer venue for going fast and on the street.
That's right.
By far, yeah. You've done a bunch of time attack too. We did Super Lap Battle a couple times with us. He has an EG that he's been racing lately. We had a K24 supercharged in it at one time. What else? What other engines? Tell me the iterations it's been through.
Iteration. So it's probably started, one that got truly high performance was my Integra GSR. So quote unquote the B series, right? B18. The factory one was not good enough. So, at the time, before a lot of the hybrid swaps, definitely before the K series came out, the big thing was to do an LS VTEC, or if you're real crazy, you do like a B20 VTEC. So what I did there was went a little step above that and had my B18 block sleeved by Dart, and then had the 89 millimeter crank, and then the basically an LS but with 84 millimeter piston. So like the CRV bottom end, but with the Integra top end. So, and then with the right cams, that's where you got over that illustrious 220 to the wheel mark. That was like almost impossible on anything else.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Emiliano is always talking about. His brother getting 220 horsepower. Is that what it was? 220 out of or 225 out of a CRV Tech? 220?
It was 232 on a
232.
Yeah. So anything over 220, you usually got to have 2 liter, and it's got to have a pretty big stroke on it. So that was the first iteration, and then you guys actually helped me with the K24. I just blew up way too many B series, and it's got super expensive. Like, hey, for the same price, for the motor, or actually less for the motor, but the initial one-time hit of doing the K-Series swap, you can actually get that same 225 to the wheels out of completely stock K24 A2 is what I
Yeah,
ran.
it's amazing. It winds up being a better deal in the long run. The problem with the B20 is you're running it near the edge, you know what I mean? So, little things cause big problems. With the K24, you're right in the middle, you know what I mean? Right in the sweet spot on that edge.
That's right, without having to touch it internally at all, so. And then of course that escalates, hey, 220, 225 was awesome, and it's like you're still getting creamed, especially at the time attack event, so. You guys helped me put on the Jackson Racing Supercharger. I'm a big fan of superchargers over turbochargers simply because of how linear it is.
Yeah.
I think if you really want to go fast, turbocharging is the way to go, especially for drag racing. Even in some cases of road racing, when you don't have a class that it matters how much power you make, you just want to go as fast as possible. But if you are horsepower limited or power to weight limited, the supercharger is the way to go, just because you can be so linear. It makes it much easier to drive on a road course.
It's interesting. I agree. I feel like the supercharger car you've driven is supercharged K24.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
a
love
lot
the
easier to
superchargers.
control the power of your foot.
Yeah.
It is, and the torque down low is so amazing coming out of corners.
Yeah, you have as much as you want. I mean,
Yeah.
I can remember the supercharged CRX when it was in there. If I didn't like where I was, like everything was a little too tight, I would just roll some more throttle on and do kind of the four-wheel drift out towards the edge of the track, and I found it pretty effective. But just as a counterpoint, the new SI turbo motor is actually really torquey down low. You know what I mean?
So it's not so much the torque down low. I have seen some of the dyno charts. It's the fact that it's linear. So with the Jackson Ray,
Exactly.
so it makes like 220, 240, but it goes all the entire rev range. So the fact that you can lift just a little bit and it takes just a little bit of power away. You give it a little more gas, it gives it a little bit more power. It feels like an NA motor, just a lot more of it because it got 8 cylinders on it. Whereas the turbo motor, it still has a fairly large, yes, the power does come on very soon down in the 2,000, 3,000 range, but it's so much torque that it gets a little bit hard to control, I feel.
Okay, fair enough. So right now I'm in the process of possibly building a car for a horsepower limited event. You're saying that I might be better off actually with the supercharger. What's your horsepower right now currently on your car?
So limited 325 is the limit with the current weight that I've got right now.
Okay,
So
325.
325.
What do you run? How much more? I thought you were around quite a bit lower than that. But you're at 325?
No, it runs whatever small pulley that is. I'm not sure. I think it's about right around 10 pounds of boost.
Okay, so you're on like the 3.4 inch pulley or whatever it is, a 3.2 inch pulley.
Yeah,
The small one, the tiny
yeah,
one.
it is the smallest one that I've got. There's a
and you've
smaller
got an
one.
intercooler too.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Tage has been testing our intercooler setup.
Yes, it works awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. So, because I did in the very beginning when that car was originally set up, it only made like 260 to 280.
Yeah.
But it was
made a lot of heat.
It was very finicky, and I always thought that the tires, the autocross compound tires that I typically ran for like a time attack or time trial event, I thought they were only good for one lap. No, it was because the supercharger kept generating more and more power, or more and more heat, and every single lap you'd lose more and more power, so it kept going slower and slower and slower. With the intercooler, the first lap is as good as the last lap, and actually the tires get better and better and better, so I can lay down multiple good laps.
Very good. We actually have a project coming up on RSX that's using the same intercooler. It's for the RSX Jackson Racing. I'm sorry, it's for the Jackson Racing RSX supercharger, and it works really well. It's basically an aftercooler, and it has really short piping on it. I actually developed a radiator intercooler combination for my RSX, and it'll work for EGEK. And sorry, this is a personal commercial here, but you've been driving it, and you feel it's really good. I actually got 375 horsepower out of my setup.
Oh, okay.
So you're not at the limit of it yet, and that was on stock K24 TSX motor, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm hoping with the addition of E85, I'll be about 400. Now, of course, that's too much for your class, but
Yes.
I'm just saying there's a little more headroom there.
Yeah, I think what's holding me back is probably the exhaust mostly. It's only running a 2.5 inch. I know there's more power to be had, but one of the tracks they run at Arizona Motorsports Park, they have a sound limit. I am 0.1 dB away from being over, so I know going the larger exhaust would preclude me from going to that track.
Right,
So.
be a problem.
Can I ask why they have the sound?
It is
Limits?
absolutely ridiculous because they're at the base of Luke Air Force Base and the jets are way louder, but I think it's mostly politics of neighbors saying, hey, we don't want to live next to a noisy racetrack. And they use the analogy of, yes, the train track may be very, very busy noisy to live next to, but hearing a faucet dripping all night long, all day long is very, very annoying. So they don't want to hear the cars, so.
I think what really happened was, when they first applied for their permits, they weren't totally upfront with what they were gonna be doing.
Absolutely. So I think the permits say exactly what it is, but there were many public speakers that were downplaying what they actually planned on doing. So
Right.
that's what got them in trouble. And they got, I think folks with money and investments in that area for selling houses had the power to shut that track down. So now that it's been reopened, they're very, very adamant of saying, hey, we are going to stick to exactly what that special use case permit is, including the sound limits.
Yeah, which is totally understandable, honestly.
He doesn't
It's
want to get the track shut
understandable.
down.
Yeah, you wanna be careful. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the track in Maricopa opens up, because it's a similar deal, but I think they've been a lot more upfront with what's gonna be happening, so I think it should be, less restrictive.
Yeah, I'm super curious. So they are open, and I don't think they've got any sound metering things in place right now. So it's just a matter of time if folks.
The one in
complain.
Casa Grande's open now?
The one in Maricopa's open.
I've driven that one.
So-
Have you driven that yet?
No, I have not driven that one
It's a
yet.
big wide open track.
That one, so my buddy Dan Erickson's building the Casa Grande one.
Okay.
So that one there has legitimately got all of the right permits, like you said.
That's, yeah.
I think they've got a sound limit. It's 140 dB, which is equivalent to a rocket taking off.
Nice.
So they're zoned for concerts and everything. So they can
Excellent.
do anything they want at that track once
Wow.
it gets up and running.
Very good. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, Josh from next door, Bird's Eye Productions, on saying
Oh,
hi to all
you
of
know,
us.
Josh Lambeth. is
Yeah, right next
there.
door.
Yeah.
Hi, Josh.
He's our neighbor, best neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, he never complains about me starting up the car late at night.
And I never complain about him starting up his car late at night.
Yeah, we helped him put his 2 pieces of Formula Ford into 1 piece.
Oh,
The other week.
yes.
Yeah.
Does he store his new trailer he got?
I
there?
found a place for it. Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't in front of the house for a couple of weeks while he was arranging that.
Oh,
but
what a
yes.
deal there.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the event I was at. That
Yeah.
he won the.
Yeah.
That he won the
Yeah,
trailer.
yeah,
so-
that was
He said he's
fantastic.
got a hard drive for you.
He has a
Right.
hard drive for you.
Hard drive for me. I owe him
Yeah.
a GoPro, but I'm so jealous of his trailer, I think I'll keep the GoPro. He stuck a GoPro in my car one time, and it was like, hey, should we put this in a different spot? No, it'll never have a problem. It was stuck to the windshield. We didn't realize the hood pins on my hood sheared.
Oh yeah,
Smacked up
smacked
and,
it?
yeah, smacked
Oh,
his GoPro. And
Brutal.
yeah.
Absolutely
He
brutal.
said that's fine.
Yeah, no, he said it was fine. Still feel bad about it.
Yeah, he's got the trailer. He's okay. He's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
karma.
crazy.
Came
Yeah, it
in.
was like a $250 raffle ticket, and he won a $25,000
Yeah,
trailer.
yeah, that's something
crazy.
else, man.
Yeah.
Nicest trailer in the paddock. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you guys, how often do you run events? I'm sorry. So you are the regional director of NASA. You are basically run the NASA region here in Arizona.
Yep.
How often do you guys have events?
So we put on about one per month, except for the hottest months. So it really, if you look at the schedule, it says just nothing in July, but it's really almost 3 months because we run in June, but it's the very first weekend. We run in August, it's the very last weekend,
Right.
and it's at night in August, and then it's in the very, very early morning in June. So there's about a 3-month break. But
Right.
besides that, it's one
much
event per
year-round.
month. Yeah, year round.
That
Very
August
good.
event was a lot of fun.
Good.
The night event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time driving at night.
That was-
that was fun.
I
If you're
found
not
it a little
night
bit.
vision.
I found it a little bit difficult because I'd never been on the track before, and there's so many variations of it.
Yep.
So as long as I was following somebody, I was up their ass the whole time. But then when I got out front, I was missing braking points and everything else. It was horrible. I sucked.
We put those good LED light bars in where my headlight holder
Yeah,
used to
I
be,
mean
which
mine.
were
Yeah.
I've got old
halogens.
the
down,
halogens and
Yeah,
and
the
they
LED
just-
light
they
bars
were
are
totally
money.
insufficient.
Yeah.
Totally insufficient. Carter really likes driving NASA because of your
Structure.
system, your structure. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, NASA's on the surface. NASA's not the only choice to drive your car,
Right.
for sure. Everyone knows that. So, but they do have a very unique structure. So there's some organizations that are, I won't call it loosey goosey, but their claim to fame is, hey, we're hassle free, and they are just that. They will leave you alone. NASA's fairly unique in that each level has got its own unique set of requirements. So not only do you have a download after each session, where the group leader will be talking about, hey, what went right, what went wrong, did someone make a mistake, hey, let's learn from that, and they give coaching tips along the way. So that's one way you can really progress your driving. So it's not just about having seat time in your specific group, whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or advanced, it's getting that little coaching tips at the appropriate time. Trying to shove, you know, every race strategy to you in your very first day is just typically not very useful. So we try to make sure that, hey, your first track day event is fun and it's safe. So with the instructor, that's truthfully their goal. Make sure they don't crash your car, make sure they have a good time and are running in safe lines, braking in a straight line, making sure they're just having a good time, right? It's not till you get to the level 2, 3, and 4 that the rules start getting opened up, and you learn specific techniques for each appropriate group. And then of course there's obviously competition groups. NASA's a little bit unique from some of the local organizations in that it is a national organization.
Right.
So there's 15 regions, we're one of 15. We have a national championship, for example, for one of them. We're a large enough region to where, or large enough organization to where, Chuck Wall is a prime example, to where it will bring in SoCal, it'll bring in NorCal, it'll bring in Arizona to make one large event. So some of our competition, they'll have similar events, but a lot of times it'll be teamed up with a completely different organization. It'll be just like ran as a guest group. So you don't have that continuity of, hey, I'm running, you know, my time trial or maybe like a hot lap, what another organization may call it. It's ran in conjunction with a different one. So it's just not a very fluid and seamless experience where it is with NASA. So your membership, your comp license, or a time trial license, that stuff all is universally accepted at any one of the regions. If you want to go run VIR or you want to go run Laguna Seca or Mid-Ohio, you can do that by just having a NASA license.
One of the things that intrigued me, and I'm not sure how it's going to go this first year, was the Trek series. What's it called? What's it called?
Team endurance.
Team Racing Endurance. Something.
Endurance challenge. Team racing endurance
Yeah,
challenge.
Team Racing
Yes.
Endurance Challenge.
Yeah.
So that one is, I don't know, put words in NASA's mouth, but I think that's in response to a lot of these other organizations
Like
that
Champ Car and
extremely successful, extremely
You're
successful. So the challenge there though is that's very, very loosey-goosey, right? So anyone that's willing to pay the entry fee, come out there, and it shows with the cars that are on track. So I think NASA, by not doing anything, I think they think they're losing out on that. So it's like, hey, let's make up our own. Same type of requirements. There is no requirements. If you got a driver's license, you can run. So you don't even have to do HPD1 or any sort of beginner orientation. You can just start racing. So that's the same thing that Champ Car, Chump Car, Lemons all have.
right.
But I think it brings in some of the more structured, not, hey, this is what the rule is going to be, or here's how we're going to do classes. So it's a little bit more structured. We'll see how it goes. Some of the regions have had some really good success with them. I don't think we've seen like the 250 cars all taking a start a button willow type of thing. But we're just in the infancy of this program.
Right. I think that being consistent for a while is going to build the series. I think if it winds up they quit after a year, it's going to be difficult to see if there's any value to doing it. But I actually do think there's a lot of value to it. There are a lot of people that go out and do track days that I think would like to do this type of thing, particularly with a group of friends. It's so fun with a group of friends.
Yes, absolutely.
But really, the real only requirement is you have to have a race car.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the biggest barrier. So a number of people on the Lemons and the Champ Car, they've got race cars. They've built them specific, and you know, I'm just as entertained with the plywood wings and the Mickey Mouse ears on the car. So I don't think this NASA's looking so much that, but yeah, it does have to be a car that's got car numbers on it. It's got actual roll cage, all the proper safety gear. So there's a lot of people that I think
Got to pass tech.
It's got to pass the same tech that NASA's race cars do. I think we'll be pretty lenient on, you know, if it's got some ridiculous looking modifications. I think that's probably fine, but I'm super
As long
curious.
as you're safe, I assume.
As long as it's safe, yeah.
Not
So
endangering somebody.
yeah, and that series is a little bit different. I mean, the quality of cars is
Well,
very greatly.
I certainly understand why they would be going after that group of people, because it's going to bring more people into the fold. I'm hoping. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people aren't experiencing NASA because of certain.
It's so difficult
Yeah.
to get. I mean, you really they've done. I'd say in the industry, NASA's comp license is regarded as the most difficult license to get. FIA license is easier to get than NASA one by far. You can just go out and buy one. So NASA, you actually have to make it to HPD4 before you can even take comp school,
Gentlemen racing.
and then you got to actually race. And you
Okay.
actually got to pass the school to get that license. So
Interesting.
a lot of people want that license, but for guys that they just run their car, they're safe, and they've got a race car, they can race with us. They don't have to be running with a bunch of inexperienced folks that, you know, may not be really ready for the type of.
Up to speed or comfortable in the car.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I got some
Exactly.
local racers that have been hit by inexperience just because they're inexperienced, not because they're trying to be mean.
Right, okay. Well, we've actually talked a little longer than we normally do, and so I would like to get a few questions.
Yeah.
And just see if we have any questions.
Neutron Performance is asking, can you run a K20 crank position sensor on K24 bottom end with a K20 head?
Yeah, it doesn't matter on the crank angle sensor, you just have to have the connector keyed properly. You've gone through that. Yeah.
Don't put it in backwards.
Yeah.
It says outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they-
thought I put mine in backwards when we did the
yeah.
element.
And when we say back, we're talking about the gear itself, the
Yeah.
elector. But on the crank angle sensor, basically it's keyed for the wiring harness you have, so you wanna make, another beer, all right, all right. It's keyed for the particular connector you have. You have to understand that if your connector and your crank angle sensor aren't keyed the same, that means that you have the wrong crank angle sensor, and if you wanna, use that crank angle sensor that you have, the wrong one, you need to get a different connector, and you actually need to rearrange the wires. They're actually slightly different. I like to make a short answer really long.
I know.
Yes.
EFK mounts, do they fit 88 to 91 wagon also?
EFK mounts. Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless you have an all-wheel drive car, which has a slightly different bracket on the right-hand frame rail, it will fit right in it.
Gearhead asks, what are the benefits of Mugen N1 ECU for K series?
There's no real benefits to that. That's actually from a one make, or I'm sorry, that's actually a spec ECU. So it's not actually going to give you any. The only, I mean, it's going to get rid of your immobilizer, but other than that, there's really no advantage to doing that. I mean, it's actually designed for one make competition with a spec engine. So, yeah.
Oh,
Comment?
Neutron, did we do the one,
Yes.
Okay, it's sorry. Is a 2003 EP3 alternator an alternative to using a Type S alternator on a budget K24 A4 swap?
On the budget K24, the deal is both the EP3 and the RSX alternator have a slightly different offset on the 3 bolt holes. So what winds up happening is when you put it on, you're going to notice that if you tighten down one bolt hole, there's going to be a gap at the bottom, or if you tighten down the bottom, there's going to be a gap at the top. There's something that's not quite aligned the same. I don't remember what it is off the top of my
He noticed
head.
it points out the back.
Huh?
He noticed it points out the back a little bit.
Oh, that has to do with the connector itself. I'm talking about the way it mounts flush. There's a difference between the K24, unless, I think the CRV is the same as EP3 and the same as RSX, but I think the Accord and the TSX is different. So you need to get a spacer in there to take up the extra space. But the connector, it's all, you know, the connector pokes out in a different place. It pokes out of the front on the K24, on the Accord and TSX. It pokes out of the back on the Civics, and it has to do with the fact that the front end's so tight on those cars. So, but yeah, you can interchange. You just got to have a spacer in there.
So I think your answer was too long, by the way.
Yes,
You can run a K20 crank position sensor on a K24 bottom end.
absolutely.
Okay.
You just got to rekey the connector. You just got to have the right connector.
Okay. Because he has a Rywire K series engine harness.
Oh, so you
Well,
actually have to-
if Rywire wired it properly, you're good to go. The question is, you got to tell them what crank angle sensor you're using, so it gives you the right connector and right
just grind up the
wire
tabs.
positions. Huh?
Or just grind off the little key thing. Right?
You can grind up the key things, but then you got to switch wires.
Oh yeah,
They are
yeah,
actually
yeah,
wired different. Yeah.
Here's one. I think we actually haven't had a lot of questions. A lot of people just watching and listening.
Yeah.
It seems like, and talking amongst themselves. But somebody that we never had before, Mongers asked, "What's so popular about the K series? I've seen people swap out Integra Type R motors for a K20. It's better.
It just makes
It's
more
just
power.
Better.
It just makes more power.
I've asked the guy,
6-speed is a huge deal
Mm-hmm.
if you're racing. What do you? Okay, you
yeah.
give me your opinion. You did that.
Hang on. So what are you saying? Is it, so
Why is a K he's saying,
K-Series
why
is
is the
better.
K better than the B18C
And he's giving
Type
the
R motor?
he's giving the
Oh.
example people even taking Type R's and putting K's in them. Why are they so worth it over even a Type R motor?
Hang on. When you say the Type R, are you talking a B series Type R?
Yes,
B18C5.
yeah. Yeah,
well,
like ITR.
yeah. So I'd say it makes a lot more torque and makes the same power. So ideally, you're just making more power.
Yeah.
So the gearing, I do think the K series has got a lot more options on gearing. There is no one transmission that is the perfect one. So
No, because damn 6 gears, a huge jump on all of them.
Yeah, so I've got, I don't know, I've got a ton of different, I probably have 3 or 4 different transmissions that make up all of my gear sets. So
Right.
a really, really tall second, a close third and fourth, and the JDM fifth and sixth.
Depending on, yes, exactly.
So-
And that's really correct. I mean, the thing is that you look at them and there was like a JDM Type R, like 06 or something like that, that had actually a decent spread between all 6 gears.
Yeah.
But all the other ones are like,
Way too short.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
too short, so.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I spoke to a guy that has an Integra Type R who pulled out his B18C matching numbers to the car and put a K20 in it. I asked him, why would you do that? He said, the reason is I would rather blow up a K24 that does
Yeah.
not match to my car than blowing up a matching VIN to my car. So
Right,
he was
and you
trying
can
to
always
go
put it
back.
back in, if he, as long as he
Exactly.
salvaged that bracket that
So
sits in
then
the
that
front.
made me pull my B16A out and put a K series in my car.
Yeah,
For that
you,
same
so,
reason.
yeah, you
SI.
have a SI, you pulled your B16 out, yeah. I agree, I think that, it's like the guys that are have NSXs, and they wanna boost them, and they're
Oh,
putting a
yeah.
J series in.
J series, way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you can blow up
Absolutely.
15 of those for the price of one
Yeah,
C32,
that's right.
you know?
Exactly.
Super expensive
So-
NSX motor.
Yeah,
Yeah, Aaron says he's got a Del Sol and he's debating between a J or a K. He's kind of leaning towards the J because he thinks nobody wants them. They'll be everywhere soon.
the problem,
You want to cut your hood.
you're gonna have to put oil in your hood, you don't have to. But if you want to not scrape your oil pan, you're gonna have to. But honestly, the only problem with the J is finding a transmission. And, but if you have a transmission, and they're available for $500-600, I have 3.
They're not for sale.
Yeah.
Those are $800. No.
Do they have LSD?
I paid like $300 each for them. I
Junk
got them, I
cars.
pulled them out of the salvage yard
Yeah,
myself,
yeah.
though, so I spent 2 hours. But anyway, point being, the J is super torquey, and you know, did you ever drive my CRX with the J? Oh, that thing is crazy fast. The J is really fast. If you don't mind the hood thing sticking out of the hood, it's absolutely fine. Otherwise, do it.
That was the first car I across was a J powered CRX.
You learned to drive stick in a J series powered EK.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
White one. The red
Yes,
one.
the red one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned to
Now-
drive stick in the inside.
J, and I have not had a J swapped car since. Like I want
What
one
about
now.
a J to K adapter with the K tranny? How much longer is it with that adapter?
The K series transmission is actually shorter. Okay, so that spacer in there makes up for that shortness, and the J series engine is actually shorter than a K. Remember, it's only 3
Oh, yeah,
cylinders
3
wide.
cylinders
It's not
wide.
4 cylinders wide. So it's actually physically smaller.
The problem is the starter on the bottom.
The problem, the only thing I don't like about it is the starter goes underneath where the oil pan is, so where the exhaust normally passes underneath, that's where your starter is. So you have to run your exhaust over top the transmission. And I think that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I would love it, go ahead. I'm sorry. I would love it if somebody redesigned a bell housing that K-series transmission bolted up to, that bolted up to the J and had the starter on the side.
I say we just do an external starter.
External starter.
Yeah, like the carts and the F1 carts, just plug it in the side.
It's
Yeah.
like a big wheel, and you just jack up the car, you just stick it up against the tire.
Yeah,
Like
bump
a
start
bump
it.
All right, sorry.
Most everybody caught us on time, but I think we have to address the fact that it's not a new start time for us. We don't change time.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Everyone's
Arizona
later.
doesn't do daylight savings time.
3 states.
We're the state that's got it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Where is it? Hawaii and Oklahoma. Do you have any other
Like a county of Oklahoma. Is it the whole state
the
now?
whole state of Oklahoma?
Okay, there's like a county in
And one
Indiana
county
that
in
doesn't do
Illinois
it.
is the same.
Oh,
thing.
Illinois, that's
Yeah.
right. There's like one county in
Yeah.
Illinois that does it. So, sorry guys, but if you're on the East Coast, we're earlier.
I'm not sure how I feel about being compared to Oklahoma.
Hawaii. Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, Hawaii. I feel good about
Aloha.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
I feel good about being
So-
that
3
good.
hours.
But basically, we are always, if you look at, when you change times in the fall, we are 1 hour ahead of California. And when you spring back
We're with California.
forward, we're
Oh, yes,
California.
It's spring back, fall forward.
Fall,
Yeah.
fall back.
Fallback,
Yeah,
You
fallback,
people-
fallback, spring forward?
Yeah,
Those
I
people
love
just
saying it
need
backwards.
to
spring
get
back,
help.
fall forward.
Yeah.
They need to
Back
stop.
They just need to get rid of daylight
So,
savings.
so,
Yeah.
so let me explain something to you though. Next year, when daylight savings times changes, we're gonna move the show forward to 7 o'clock.
Oh, good God.
We are. We're gonna move,
It's okay.
yeah. We can make it home by 7.
No,
We
I
just have to
meant-
leave work an hour,
That-
half hour early.
Yeah,
That's like 2 beers less at the bar, though. We're just gonna
Hey,
drink
I'm
more
down
when
to
we
leave
get
work
here.
early.
You know what?
I
You
just
just
need
get the
excuse.
little,
Oh yeah,
the little ones.
yeah.
little ones.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Gearhead's been asking us a few times. I think it's time to address it. But honestly, I don't think any of us are gonna know the answer. Maybe Mel. He knows rare parts. How rare is a facelift Type R EP3 front bumper? I just picked one up last week for steel. Also, want to know what it's worth.
So, we had one on our EP3.
Yes. No, faceless. I think that'd be 0405 of the EP3.
Got it, right.
We had the
Good
first.
point.
Yeah.
We had the first gen, we had the 03,
I
02, 03.
no clue. Never cared about expensive bypass. I'm just gonna fuck them up some way, anyways.
So, you're
Did you get
useless
them
on
anywhere?
this one.
Yes.
That's probably
An
a
EP3
question
is
for,
really niche.
that's probably a question for Matt at ICB Motorsport. We need to get Matt down here.
Yes.
So we'll try to get Matt from ICB Motorsport down here to do one of these midnight oils, and he can answer all your JDME questions. That would be good.
Did
We
you
know
ask
some of
a
the
que-
stuff, but not that particular one.
Did you
Yes.
ask a question about is it legal to swap out the front crash bar to a CTR crash bar?
The lighter weight, smaller
Legal.
ones. Is it
Legal.
illegal?
Legality has, okay, so
How would
there's
they
no
know?
federal regulation on that.
Yeah.
It's, that's, yeah.
Once
there's
it's
no
been
federal-
sold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once you own the car, you can do whatever you want. You can take it off. Not a good idea, but you can do that. Yeah, there's no, federal regulations have to do more with safety equipment and with emissions. So, and there's no state regulation. I'm sorry, some states may have modifications to your car are illegal, but not our state, so I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Andrew, a second, oh, no, I'm sorry, yes. Will a no check valve on a K-swap EM1 cause an idle surge?
When you say check valve, I'm assuming you're talking about the idle air control valve. Or the other valve that might be a check valve would be your air assist valve. Your air assist valve, if you don't plug up the hole, might cause a vacuum leak around the injector, so that could cause a surging idle. If you're talking about the idle air control valve, absolutely that can cause a surging idle, because that basically is what the engine uses to kind of regulate how much air is getting in beyond what's coming in with the
Brake booster
idle.
check valve.
Oh, brake booster check valve. If your brake booster, oh no, because all that does is make sure that your when your vacuum goes away on your intake manifold,
Yeah, you
it
don't
doesn't go
steal
away
it
on the
from
brake
the
booster.
booster. Yeah.
Right. So no, that shouldn't cause an
I
idle
thought
surge.
that if a bad valve, it bled
But
off.
a bad brake booster can cause an idle surge.
Carter, did
If
you
you've got a
see the
leaky brake
questions from Apollo?
No, but I actually found another one first.
Oh, okay,
And then I can go find that one.
okay.
Warner80 asks, he goes, it's Greg with the red EK, K2482. I think he was actually at the last night event I saw him at. He goes, I'm running a stock 6-speed RSX tranny. Should I put a 4.7 or 5.1 final? Keep in mind I plan on keeping the 7,000 RPM relevant. Also, Sunday at West, is it counterclockwise?
so 4.7 is what my recommendation would be. I run a 4.4 in mine, but I got a lot more power. And then, hang on here, we do a regular on Saturdays. That would be counterclockwise on Saturday, counterclockwise on Saturday, clockwise on Sunday.
Yeah, I would say the 5.0 would be better for like a K20.
Yeah, with the 7,000 RPM rev.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, you want something
4.7.
closer to 9,000 RPM to run,
Yeah.
run the higher or the
Yeah.
other gear ratio.
I've tried both, and it's almost the same. It's just more shifting.
Yeah.
In terms of lap times, and it seems like it's faster, feels like it's faster, but it's
That's
still
what I
faster.
was
than
Start
Probably,
shifting-
it's probably
shifting more.
faster 0 to 70, but probably not a lot faster.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
if you're
tried them all.
shifting more, you're losing
Yeah,
tenths every
you
time you
do
shift.
lose. Yeah, if it causes
Yeah.
one more shift.
But,
Depends on
but
where
here-
you're.
But here's the deal also. You're driving a supercharged car, you want to use your torque as much as possible. It's like when I run the J-Series car. It's like, you're almost better off running at the lower RPM.
But really, I mean, so to put it in perspective, to answer the question more precisely, ideally you want the gearing and final drive that allows you to be at red line at the end of every straight. So that is.
So the track may be actually the determining factor on this
That's
particular
right,
question.
and there is no ideal, but knowing that most of our tracks are in Arizona, if this is a local guy,
He is. Yeah, he runs.
base it off of east, west, AMP. I mean, that's the tracks that we typically run most of the time. So if you want to maximize your car and your gearing, try to get it so that at least it either reduces one shift or it's at red line at the end of each straight. That's the ultimate gearing for your car.
It was interesting because when I ran at Apex, I had the Accord transmission with the Accord motor, and it was absolutely wrong. There were so many times I was on the rev limiter and still 150 feet away from the end of the.
Yeah, it's
end
not
of
worth the shift, or you're right at the red line, exiting a turn, but it's bogging coming out.
Oh yeah, a couple times I'm in the middle of they have some pretty high speed sweepers, and I'm bouncing off the rev limiter and the sweepers, and I'm like going, do I shift when I'm like, fully locked over? Yeah.
Yeah, so it just depends on where does your car spend most of the time, and ideally most of the time at a medium or high speed. That's going to be your best bang for the buck.
Right. So you can actually drive your car with that 4.7 final drive and decide whether or not, that's a good one without actually changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, have him come to me at the van. We can talk in detail on gearing.
I'm sure he will come find you.
Apollo, did you see Apollo's
Yeah, I just
questions?
was about to read.
Okay, great, go ahead.
Apollo was he's tracking an FK8 CTR at about 75 degrees ambient temps. He goes, the coolant gauge climbed halfway from H during most of the track sessions. I guess that'd be about 3/4. Oh no, halfway from H during most of the track sessions. Then climbed to nearly 2/3 from hot. But my car did not go into limp mode. Is it safe to continue sessions while the gauge moves up to 2/3 from max?
As long as it didn't go in limp mode, you're good. Because basically the Type R is famous for going into limp mode.
Limp mode.
If it doesn't go into limp mode,
But don't these gauges have like they don't move
they have
until
a dead spot.
they if it's moving beyond the dead spot, it really is pretty warm.
But it doesn't matter. If it's not going into limp mode, it's
He was saying the
okay.
limp mode comes in at 250 degrees.
Well, okay, first of all,
Or limp mode comes on.
doesn't matter what that temperature degree mark is. What'll happen is it'll actually start retarding timing, and you'll lose power. So if you notice that you're going slower when it's up there 2/3 from hot, then you're not doing anything.
You're kind of wasting your time on track.
You're wasting your time on track.
You're not going
Exactly. All you're
faster.
doing, you're not going fast.
So my point is, if it's moving at all, and you enjoy tracking, and you want the motor to last, and you want to be healthy to your motor, it would make sense to invest in a radiator, some cooling devices to keep it cooler. No?
Yeah, absolutely. And they have a couple of solutions for the Type R. They have a top grill that's more open. A couple of companies make that. Saibon makes it. Spoon's coming out with one. And then there's the Chinese ones that have the big opening on
more
top.
airflow, yeah.
Right. The big problem with that car is the intercooler
It's
clogs
blocking.
up so much of the lower part of the radiator, which is, it would be nice if somebody made a kit to move the intercooler up top.
Sure.
Yeah, like it is on the touring cars. But anyway, it's if you're going slower, even though your temperature's not in hot range, then you're just. It's not necessarily. I think the computer's safe enough; it's keeping you from doing damage, but you really are wasting your time.
Yeah.
You're wearing out your tires needlessly, and you're not going any faster.
Yep.
So yeah. As long as you're going fast, go ahead and stay with whatever you got. When it slows down, the motor's going, hey, you're too hot. Oh wait, by the way,
Here's a great.
we'll have Jason Owens next week, who runs a Type R, and he will talk about that a little bit more if you guys want to talk about that.
Here's a question for Tage. Jay wants to know, what's your main recommendations for someone looking to attend their first track day? Any supplies, safety equipment?
Does he say what kind of car he drives?
He does not.
Okay, so.
I'm gonna
It's
say
a Honda.
Honda.
So let's think about this one. So the one thing that gets people, make sure you got plenty of tires. Don't show up on quarter tires. Make sure your brakes are good. The problem with track days is people underestimate how much you use the brakes. So just having good stock brakes is typically not going to cut it. So an HPD1, you're not like waiting to the absolute last minute and hammering on the brakes. There could be some opportunities for that, but ideally, if you take it really, really easy on those brakes, they will last for the day. But if you're looking for something to buy and some money's burning a hole in your pocket, buy. You don't need a big brake kit. You just need better pads. And I don't mean AutoZone semi-metallic. I mean get real pads that are designed for the racetrack. That will make all the difference in the world to make sure you have a great time at the track.
And fresh brake fluid.
Fresh brake fluid.
Oh yeah, fresh brake fluid is a good idea for your first track.
I see tons of people, either it's they corded tire or they just ran out of brakes. So they underestimated it or they ran out of gas. So make sure you fill up with a full tank of gas.
Yeah, full tank. Yeah.
You will go for a
Consumables.
full tank per day.
So I have an interesting story. When I was at Apex, I was in the Budget EG. It has drum brakes on the rear, disc brakes on front. It's actually got just kit. It's got one of the fast brakes kits that uses a Willwood caliper. It's pretty big. Barely fits inside.
1175.
1175, barely fits in a 15. Perfect brake kit. And I ran street pads. And it was a pretty fast course with a couple of pretty heavy braking areas. And I ran it the whole day like that. The next weekend, we go to another track.
The next day.
I'm sorry, that's right. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, we went to Chuckwalla. And everybody's
That's
like,
easy on brakes.
huh?
Traditionally, I think that's an easier track on brakes than
It
most.
is. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But that's the point. The point is there was so much pedal travel, it wasn't even funny.
Oh, so you wore the pads
And-
all the way down to nothing.
It wasn't the pads, it was the rear shoes.
Oh, the rear shoes you went through.
The rear
Yeah.
shoes it was
So we had
Oh,
to
interesting.
drive with the e-brake a couple
We had to
clicks
put
up
the
to
U-brake up
eat
4
up the
clicks.
slack.
Oh,
take up the
to
slack.
take up the slack.
And then it was okay.
Or you pull the thing off and you spin the little thing. a
No,
few
it was
times.
too late. It was past that.
Oh
It was
man.
beyond that.
Oh
So,
man. Yeah, usually it's.
Yeah. I've
That's
almost
surprising.
always driven that car with the e-brake up a few clicks when I've taken it out.
Yeah. You know, it was.
Yeah.
It still stopped fine. It was funny
It
because
was
I'm like,
great after.
because I'm like out there. The brakes stopped fine. And Carter's like, no, there's too much pedal travel. You know, I'm like, the brakes
Yeah.
stopped fine. And then finally we realized, oh, the pads. So we
how
clicked on
funny.
a bunch, and then it was all. Then it was drivable. Then it was within his.
You could get through it.
Yeah.
I felt
But he-
safe
he
with the
felt-
road. Well,
he
my
felt
wife
safe
was
'cause it
doing
wasn't so
her like second track day with the car, so I was like, I want a little more pedal travel in this.
But I was like,
more.
Yeah.
you could lock them up. I mean, you would,
Yeah.
but it would be
Yeah,
always
but they would
the
be
floor.
almost at the
Yeah.
floor.
That's
so
not
like, if there's
confidence inspiring.
any, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't confidence inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I drove it like that for the whole day, so and it was just a little more travel.
I think I'd gotten so used to my Prelude also, which now has the dual masters, and the pedal is so hard to stop that car. So I think I got a little ruined by that. So soft pedals.
So you had a
feel
different
even
frame of
worse.
mind that you were, or frame of reference you were coming from. But anyway, point is, I'm switching to rear discs just because it's so easy to replace those at the track.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, typically those don't stop you. I never heard that story. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the 12.25 inch Willwood brakes on mine, and I had some old pads on there that are DTC05s, which is smaller the number, the less grippy they are. They were terrible. The car would absolutely not stop. So just changing the pads, even though it had huge rotors and big calipers, didn't make a difference at all. Having good
Right.
pads is everything.
yeah, good pads are everything. Yeah, we've got. I had a street track pad on the front with a decent sized thing, and the K24, it's a quad motor, 160 horsepower, so it wasn't that fast. So I never, and I could lock it up if I needed to. So it was interesting. Yes. Okay.
Aaron's making
You're just
comments.
laughing us up. All right. All right. So we're gonna take a little quick break here. I was at SEMA last week, and I bumped into somebody I'd never met before. His name, I'm sorry if I butchered his name, Daisuke Jamoto from Spoon Sports, and he gave me this awesome gift. It's from Foshan, which is a Paris delicatessen.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming it's food of some sort. So let's see what the gift is. And thank you very much. I'm assuming this is actually from Spoon.
You want a drum roll?
So
It's gonna be
A drum roll?
dog poo or something.
all right. So
Yeah, exactly. They actually done like
Like,
this.
oh,
if,
man.
if he knows I have a dog. All right. It's not exploding. I don't
Okay,
think.
not
But check this out. It's
Fancy.
one piece of paper, all origami style.
Oh, that's
yeah.
very JDM on the back there.
Very
Foshan Paris.
true.
Yeah, all Japanese writing. Probably it says 200 carbs or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We can't see it.
That's okay. Do you need a knife?
Yes, I need a knife. Oh wait, no, my fingernail worked.
Whips out a knife.
I think Carter's fast with that knife.
I know.
Oh, it is food.
It looks like food.
It's a freeze dried wasabi.
Yeah. Oh,
You'll be able to
Just
tell
add
when we
water.
bite into it.
Yeah.
you gotta hold that up to the camera once you get it. Are you gonna eat it right now, or are you just gonna leave
Yeah,
it
we'll
for
try it
now?
out.
Can you do that nice now?
We'll see.
No.
Hermetically sealed for your protection. Oh, wow, bunch of individuals.
Oh.
And how was SEMA, by the way?
SEMA was pretty amazing. I mean, there was a fair number of older Hondas, which was kind of nice. Oh, okay, so what I'm
What's-
gonna do is
what's
I'm
older to you?
gonna cut the green ones in half and the red ones in half so everybody can taste a little bit of each.
Well, while you're cutting those, is there anything else we need to talk about NASA that we might have missed? When we talked? I really love NASA because of the I've run a lot of different track days between California and Arizona, ranging in organization size, even grid life and stuff, or well, Honda meets, I should say. And one of my favorite things about NASA is the structure to it. It's something that I miss whenever I go anywhere else that I don't.
It's like
that
crackers.
I love.
You-
Oh,
I
they're
think-
cookies.
Oh, they're
Oh,
cookies.
okay. Yeah, thanks for that, Carter. So I think the key thing is just if you're on the fence, just give it a try, especially this weekend. It's especially like one of the best tracks to start at because it's relatively low speed. So when you're on the track, it seems like it's super fast, but it's the least risky track probably anywhere in the nation.
Oh wow.
Just because it's so slow and it's got so much runoff room, you're not going to hurt your car.
Is this at Firebird this weekend?
Yeah, so
Wild
some
Horse
people call
Pass.
it
I'm sorry,
Firebird,
Wild
Wild
Horse
Horse Pass,
Pass.
Bondurant, the
Yeah.
West track though. So,
Right.
and then we're running a special as always. So thank you. What is it? First time 2019 is the promo code. Gives you $50 off your entry fee. So that pretty much
Nice.
covers the
Thank you.
membership and then some. So registration closes this Thursday at 8 p.m. So if you're on the fence, don't be on the fence. There's only a couple spots left. Sign up for that. Take advantage of that promo code.
I think a lot of our viewers want to try and go out and do the track things, but they're just, Emiliano is perfect. We got Emiliano doing the, I know it's good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
We got Emiliano started doing the autocross just to get started.
Autocross is a great spot too.
It is.
First VTEC club.
And,
I've been ruined by Andy Hope. I've been.
Yeah, if you like
He always-
autocross, you'll love
Yeah.
NASA. So.
Oh,
True.
yeah. And it,
I
and the
would-
thing is that I've been at enough events to know that with NASA, you come out, somebody's with you, they're walking you through, telling you what to do, where to go, all of that. You're not just out there going, what the heck do I do?
Yeah, you really can show up by yourself because we do put a instructor one-on-one with you as your
Right.
mentor and
Uh-huh.
your in-car coach the entire day or weekend. So that's a
Right.
nice thing that they always say there.
So my question for you is, I do want to do this event. Is it only Saturday that I can do it, or Sunday?
Yeah, so on the beginner program, we only offer Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. The reason being is that usually the attendance is a little bit lower, and we'll combine HPD 1 and 2, so our beginner and novice. It's not fair when you combine folks that have had a full day of experience, so getting up to speed on the track, to have someone brand new come in there. So we've done in the past, depending on the track. On this one here, I wouldn't say it's dangerous, but it's just since we only allow passing on the main straights, it can be a little frustrating when a brand new driver comes in on Sunday for everyone else that's really up to speed by then.
Right. So it doesn't take you long to get up to speed if you're.
No, the improvement from, there's 4 sessions per day, so the improvement from the first to the last session is a huge amount, so.
I admittedly, I still tell people they're worried about getting into track days. I still remember my first HP 1 session, I was like 16 or 17. And it was like, I tell people, I'm like, it's a bit of a Sunday drive to start with, but that's a good thing, because then you can actually learn where you're going on track properly. I know that's really the goal, is the safety and learning where, how to conduct yourself on track, because the first thing you don't want to learn is how to be fast, you want to learn how to be safe and get around the track correctly.
Yeah, you got all weekend to crash your car, don't do it in the first session.
Exactly. But it's definitely, it gets you comfortable easily at a good pace.
And Carter
And,
always, he does. He even was saying 2 weeks ago.
Anytime I
that
go to other organizations, like, this
NASA,
is wrong.
It's all, NASA does it the right way, and he does a lot of different things, so, yeah.
Oh, Josh is asking, how many open-wheeled cars do I need to make a group? He says he really wish he could race with you.
3.
3?
Come
Three.
talk to me, yeah, no, I don't know.
If Josh
I mean,
is home, come
Josh,
knock on
come
our
on
door.
over.
Come on over, yeah, we'll
Josh.
talk, we'll talk.
All right.
No, a serious topic,
You
it
get a
is.
doorbell right now. What? That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
can't. He can come over right now.
I know.
We got
I
a
know.
chair right here.
Adina's on here, messaging,
Uh-oh.
the code for 50% off a new member.
Yeah, so
$50 off.
if you miss it early in the program, first time 2019 is the promo code. So when you're checking out, there's a little spot that's saying right before you check out, put your credit card. put that in there, hit submit, and you'll take $50 off that entry fee.
And it is $50 off, what does it say?
It's Dina posted in here. First time 2019.
Okay,
It's
first
50
time.
First time.
Yeah,
One
it's like
word.
all caps.
I thought you were explaining it, I didn't realize that was it.
Yeah, that is the code.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And it's
First time.
it's in the comments if anybody's looking for
Yeah.
it. It's local and
Yeah,
I
here in
just,
Phoenix.
is that code standard across all the NASA organizations or is that just
Just for Arizona.
Okay.
So
But go talk to your local organizers too and see what
typically,
they offer.
almost
Make
most
them
regions,
do it.
especially brand new, first guys coming in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple spots left, so do it now because
Should I drag Brandon's
Let's do it, bro.
behind on that
Let's
day
do
too,
it.
or what?
What
You
is
guys
it?
gonna do it?
I'm down. He's doing.
All right.
So what day is it Saturday? Like what time does it start on Saturday?
So you'll need to be there. So our driver's meeting is at 7:30, but you need to be there probably at least 30 minutes. We say about an hour before to get your car through TAC, and Dina she'll check you in at registration to make sure you got all the stuff you need, and so you're not like rushing around like crazy. So I would say 6:30 on Saturday. On Sunday you can be there a lot later. If it's just one day.
If you've already gone through TAC.
How much is
Saturday.
it for the
For
discount?
both days?
For both days and just the Saturday.
So it's $45 for a 1-year membership, and then I think it's either $199 or $189 right now for one day. It's only $100 extra for the second day. So doing both days is the real value, because it's basically $200 for one day or $150 per day. It averages down if you do both days. And you want to do both days, I'll tell you right now, because you'll have so much fun. You're like, damn, I wish I had registered.
Oh
for
yeah,
it."
you'll be
Yeah.
pissed you didn't do the second day.
And because we changed direction, so it's not like more of the same. It's a totally different track.
Sorry, sweetie, for spending money.
You got a credit card.
Yeah.
Shh.
Oh,
And a stock car can join,
it'll be
right?
at Super Lap
You can,
Hours.
yes,
It'll be a
absolutely,
super
stock
lap
car.
battle.
I was
It'll be a
already
super-
like, do we have a car I can drive? Like, if they're going, I better
The
go.
budget ET
Yeah.
will be a super lap battle.
The one thing that
December.
that gets people on tech is usually not is they've changed the safety gear and they don't think of the seat or the steering wheel or the belts as safety. Oh, I've made it better. The 4-point harness is typically the number one thing that makes it fail. So can you run a stock car? Yes, you can go down to places that allow you to rent cars and then show up in that car and it will pass tech. So if you have not modified your stock safety gear, you will pass tech.
Cool.
It's that simple.
You know, that's always the thing that gets me is improper safety equipment. I have been at a track day before where somebody died from going underneath a 4-point belt.
I don't check well, right?
Yeah.
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 So, nothing
that's
against that
been really
track,
sad. No,
Yeah.
it was an organizers and just people not knowing, not being
Yeah.
well educated on what's safe and what's not.
Yeah, it seems like it's more safe, but it's not.
It's not. But you guys also have a great write-up on your website about first-time track days, what you should bring, the checklist for everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I guess we should at least plug that. So www.nasaaz.com, NASA like the space station, or right there, National Autosport Association, AZ as in Arizona.com. One of the first things up in the upper left-hand corner is new driver. It's got about 6 or 7 videos and tons of information out there. I know people like to read, but at least watch the videos. They're actually pretty good.
And they have a really cool magazine they publish once a month that
Right.
has great articles in it.
Yeah,
Really,
no,
really
they
good article.
really did
Yeah,
a good job.
yeah.
So it used to be like this digital publication. Even I didn't want to read through the whole thing,
Mhm.
but like now they've figured out, hey, just do small blurs. People don't mind reading a 5-minute article with a video, especially.
Yeah.
So, so I don't even think you have to be a member. I think if you just
No.
create a profile,
Right.
you start getting their mailing list, and
Exactly.
they get great stuff on there.
And Ravi at We Don't Lift, one of your instructors.
Absolutely.
He also has great gear and knowledge if you're local, and actually has great online ordering support too for all across the country.
Yeah, no, local guy here too, and is at all events. He runs our intermediate Group 3.
Yep.
Um,
He just kicked me out at the last event, told me to go forward.
oh, good job. Good job, right there. Comp schools in?
So I'm hoping I got
Okay.
that TT for now. and
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Gotta get my car back together. It's on the lift right
It's
now. just
always the life
Yeah.
of everyone, right?
Robbie also said that if you guys obviously that are local come see him, he can give you a local discount.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Very good.
He's a great instructor too. All the NASA instructors
All right.
have been.
So we're gonna see a
We
video.
got about 5 more minutes. Should we do a few rapid
Wanna see
fire
what?
questions?
Video of him on
The
fire.
video of the fire? Do you have a
Yeah,
your
I do.
iPad?
I have it.
Oh, we didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lit him on fire.
You guys
There were
just
many
do it
hands
for
in
your
that.
time.
There's lots of.
And I don't know, just a second.
Would you like me to?
Yes, it is pretty much
How
right
long
at
ago
the
did
spot.
you lit him on fire?
Yeah, give us just a quick backstory. We got a few minutes.
April
Yeah, so-
2011.
April 2011. It was at the Modified Tuner Shootout.
Yep.
Tage was running his Casper, his white Civic, and it was supercharged.
Yep.
And also had nitrous.
Oh yeah, that's right, both.
And nitrous. And we were basically, I was his crew chief, and we had gone through a clutch.
That's right, roast the clutch.
Roasted a clutch, so we quickly changed the clutch, and unfortunately, there were a few too many cooks
in the kitchen.
And I did not
One of the motor mount bolts.
follow up with the transmission bolts, the 3 bolts on top of the transmission.
Yep,
They were basically finger tight, is what they were. So they would have been brought down, but not totally snugged up. So while he was out there driving, those bolts loosened up and allowed the right side of the motor, the left side of the motor to drop, and that pulled loose the 2 oil lines, or one of the oil lines on your on your
Yeah, basically a dash
Acusum,
10,
on the
dash 10
Acusum.
oil line, 80
yeah,
psi.
pulled it out, 80 psi, which then how many laps did you do at that time? Like 12 or something, or
Yeah, it was actually an enduro, a 90-minute enduro, maybe 2 hour
90-minute
enduro.
enduro.
So not very far in the enduro, and it dumped.
And he had been doing nitrous on the straight every time.
Yeah.
So
On a red hot header.
on a red hot header.
Yep.
So it pulled the oil line loose, and the oil spewed on at 80 psi onto the header, and this is what happened.
Right there.
There's a delay. We're good right there.
Are you at the
Right there,
beginning?
perfect, right there. Yep.
No.
Oh, you
We're-
need to go to the far part.
Yeah, we're there.
No,
We're all
I
queued up.
already queued it
He's
up.
on the straight.
All right.
There it is, the smoke. Okay, we're on, we have that little,
That was quite the fire.
That was incredibly hotter than it looks.
I actually remember editing this video
Dude,
for
it
you
was a
back when I was about
flamethrower
14
hitting you
or
in the back of
15.
the
It
neck.
just doesn't do the justice too, because there were cars behind me that they saw the flame. So the problem was the car's got a flat bottom, and it's got a diffuser, and there's no rear window, because I thought it'd be like more aerodynamic or cut through the air better. So it just came sucking right into the rear window.
So let me tell you about no rear window. When you have the air coming around the windshield, it creates low pressure at the 2 side windows, which draws air out the 2 side windows. Then when you don't have a rear window, the air that's getting drawn out the side windows comes in through the back window.
Oh, in hindsight now, but it's
You're
like
right.
everyone's like,
Yeah,
oh, duh.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just explaining.
Yeah, I mean the flames hit the windshield and actually shot out the 2 side windows. People
Right.
behind me said it was like 10 feet in the air, flames
Crazy.
blasting out. Yeah,
The major burns you got were actually through the
it
seatbelt.
was only
openings.
through the little. Yeah, the only place I got burnt really bad was on the back of the neck. Yeah,
Right.
through where the harness was at.
Yeah, and unfortunately you didn't have your balaclava on, which normally you would have on.
Normally I would, and it was like we just changed the clutch. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
I'm
was
late,
all
I
rush.
gotta
It
go,
was
go.
all rush, and that's where the problem is. We're
Yeah,
just
everything was
very
rushed.
rushed.
And at the time, it wasn't required without facial hair, anyways.
No, it wasn't required, but I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I need to wear.
Yeah.
But he's never forgot it since then.
Yeah.
It's funny is that the first few years I never forgot, and then you know what, you just get complacent.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, the wife,
I appreciate your honesty.
she was like,
But
where'd you
that's
wear
not
your
what I want to
suit?
hear.
Yeah, wear your safety gear.
Yeah, wear your
Every
safety
time.
gear. There's a reason it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's funny because I've seen multiple cars with diffusers and like these vent holes on the back of the trunk, and you can look right through the vent holes to the driver, and I'm like going,
See
I
the
wouldn't
same
do that.
situation coming again? Oh, that's my
I wouldn't
phone.
do that. It would be difficult to have
Oh, it's okay.
positive air pressure in the cabin, which is what you would need in order to blow flames out the back. So, but hey, you survived. We learned a lesson. It was so scary. It was just ridiculously scary. There are some. Isn't there a video of somebody from behind you?
Oh yeah, there's all
somewhere?
kinds of videos. There's-
Yeah. So check it out. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Hey Brian, are all the K24 cranks the same?
Crank sensor. Oh, the cranks actually.
The cranks are
Cranks?
pretty much all the same.
All
Yeah.
99 millimeter.
Yeah. I mean, some are stronger than others, but otherwise they're all the same.
Even the K20 is 99.
No,
millimeter?
K24.
Oh, 24s, yes.
All the K24 cranks are the
Yeah,
same. I think some are stronger than others, but I think they're all basically similar or interchangeable. Let's call them interchangeable.
What about in 02 to 04 EP3SI O2 sensor? Is it the same as in 02 04 RSX?
Yes. You're talking about that. You're actually talking about the air fuel ratio sensor, which is on Amazon they call it the upstream O2 sensor. Yeah, they're all the same.
Sweet, you got a minute.
1 minute.
Oh, Neutron Performance's phone died while we were answering his
That's the
question.
question
Oh,
I
no,
know.
the question he just did.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Yes.
You're good.
So
I thought we were
this-
still on regular cranks.
So,
You're good.
this weekend, NASA event at Wild Horse Pass.
This weekend there's a NASA event at Wild Horse Pass. If you're local in the area or you're gonna be in the area, go ahead and, there's a discount code. You can look in the notes, from Adina Evanson. You can see her, discount code for getting in if you're a first timer. Also, Carter and I won't be there though. We'll be at Super Lap Battle in
Yes.
California.
With the,
We'll
Turbo
be
Prelude.
With the Turbo Prelude.
Cool.
So that should be fun.
But it
We'd
sounds
like to
like
run
these two will be there.
Yeah.
So
You
come
two
see
and
one now.
Hopefully,
I'm
yeah.
down, I'm waiting on Emiliano.
So-
Give me
Yeah.
Emiliano.
So hopefully,
Emiliano will be
Emilio
there.
and
Come to gate 3. So
Brandon.
there's 3 gates at Wild Horse Pass. Come to gate 3.
The furthest.
Gate
The
3.
furthest one.
Yeah. So you're gonna pit there where the.
I've never driven west actually.
Hey,
You're missing out. Man.
I know.
West is
Buttonwillow,
pretty
West
cool.
Track. I don't know.
I'm not driving Buttonwillow sadly.
Okay.
Yeah, he's video guy.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm videoing
we're hoping to
for
get a
rain.
bunch of hoping to go around the and video interview anybody who's got a Honda there. So or
Oh,
fast
gosh,
Honda.
that sounds like
Can't
I
probably
probably
do
sign
every
for that
Honda.
much work.
Dude,
Dude.
I'm paying your hotel. You're doing that much work.
Exactly.
And fabulous button.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining us on another. Thanks very much for joining us on another episode of VTEC Academy's Midnight Oil. Please hit the subscribe button down below.
Like and
If
share.
you like us, like and share. If you don't like us, hit the don't like button twice. Hit it hard twice. And also go to the VTEC Academy website. That's vtecacademy.com or vtec.academy and get a t-shirt. Oh, I don't have my t-shirt on. Oh, get a
Nobody does.
VTEC Academy t-shirt. That helps us bring you more videos. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.